Breaking tonight, a lawyer for the Trump presidential transition team is accusing Robert Mueller and his team of inappropriately obtaining private documents as part of its Russia probe. Hello and welcome to Justice. I'm Jeanine Pirro. Thanks for being with us tonight. We're learning a lot about a letter sent to lawmakers by the Trump transition team today that alleges unlawful conduct by the staff at the General Services Administration in handing over transition documents to the special counsel's office. Congressman Ron DeSantis and Jim Jordan are standing by live to react to this developing story. And this week, Congressman Jim Jordan and Congressman Ron DeSantis. All right, gentlemen, good evening. Now, you guys have been front and center in this effort to find out what is going on in Congress. And here we are, almost a year into Mueller's investigation, and the only thing we're finding out about is that if there was a criminal conspiracy or a cabal of any sort, it is on the part of people within justice and the FBI. And my viewers, guys, we've been watching you for months, and you are very aggressive. But my viewers want to know, what now? What are the next steps? Jim, tell me.
Well, we're going to subpoena Andrew McCabe, subpoena Peter Strzok. And first of all, Judge, your opening was perfect. That lays out the entire story. Bruce Ohr, Peter Strzok are central to this. So subpoena Andrew McCabe, Bruce Strzok, Bruce Ohr, his wife, and Lisa Page. And I also think the chief of staff of the FBI needs to be brought in. So let's get all the documents. Let's bring them in for depositions. And let's put them on the same witness stand that Rosenstein said on last week and Sessions said on a few weeks ago, and ask them the same tough questions so the American people can get the answers. But we need the documents, we need to depose them, and then we need to subpoena all those individuals.
All right, Congressman DeSantis, how long is that going to take? If my viewers are listening, look, they hear you guys, they know you're both very aggressive. What is going to happen?
Well, Jimmy and I are ready right now, so we want to get it done very quickly because, Judge, this is holding these people accountable.
Get it done Monday.
We should look. I'm there if we can do that. We need to get support from the chairman of the committees and the leadership.
Oh,
I think we actually are going to get that. But unfortunately, Jimmy and I can't just do depositions on our own. So we're working that, and I think we can do it. But here's the thing. Yeah. All those guys need to be held accountable for what they did, but it needs to be exposed because this goes to the heart of whether this whole investigation was legitimate from the start. We still don't know. The government won't admit whether they paid Christopher Steele for the dossier, how the Russia thing started, whether they used it to surveil Trump associates. And so all this stuff needs to be brought to light.
Congressman, with all due respect, the Deputy Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein, looks like a deer in the headlights, right, when he's trying to give an answer as to why he's not giving you anything. He's not giving you anything.
Well, we actually, Devin Nunes, to his credit, is going to pursue, and I'll be very supportive of this, as Jimmy will be, contempt of Congress on Rosenstein and on the FBI director if they don't produce the answers to those very simple questions.
You send them a letter. You say show up. They don't show up. Then you subpoena them. All right? And then they come in. Do they take the fifth? What happens then?
Well, I think we can vote on the contempt before we go for the rest at the end of the year, and we should do that. And I think that it would pass overwhelmingly.
What do you think, Jim? Congressman,
yeah, I think we bring him in. And Chairman, now you're fine. Chairman Goodlatte has told us he is going to subpoena those individuals, bring them in with the documents, depose them, and put them on the witness stand. If they take the fifth, they take the fifth. But Ron is exactly right. There are two fundamental questions. Did the FBI pay Christopher Steele, the author of the dossier? And was the dossier the basis for getting warrants to spy on people associated with President Trump's campaign? If the answer is yes to either of those questions, then this is as terrible as it gets, as wrong as it gets. This should never happen in the United States of America. So that's why this is so fundamental.
It is fundamental. I can't agree with you more. But these people are still getting a check from us. Not only should they not be working for us and getting a check, I mean, they should be, as far as I'm concerned, indicted. If Jim Comey and Loretta Lynch couldn't put together a grand jury on Hillary Clinton, then you know, at least at this point, Jeff Sessions should start putting together a grand jury on this stuff. Let me ask you a question, Congressman DeSantis. On November 13th, Jeff Sessions, the Attorney General, says, I'm going to put people, some of the principals of my department to decide whether we should look at Uranium One. Have you heard anything since November 19th? November 13th?
Not from the Attorney General, we haven't. Now, I will tell you, Judge, we will have news on that. I have a lot of documents from this informant. We're going through them. He is going to testify. There's a lot of information there, but it's all being done with the Congress, working with the informant. The Justice Department has not helped at all.
Okay, and the informant that you're talking about is the one from the Russia case where, you know, Holder and Loretta Lynch told him that he couldn't talk to anybody.
That's right.
Okay. Jim, Congressman Jordan, I'm going to go to what we're just hearing about today, and that is that the Mueller has sought information and got information improperly from the transition team or transition documents in the GSA in the Russia probe. And apparently they're saying that it was unauthorized, that he didn't have the right to do it, he didn't follow protocol. What do you know about that, Congressman?
Just what you're telling me, I have not looked at that in depth, but I will tell you this: and when you went through your whole series of what took place here, you talked about Bruce Orr meeting with the founder of Fusion GPS, Glenn Simpson, after the election.
Right.
And you think, why would they meet after the election? Maybe it was to get their story straight. Maybe it was to look at ways to cover up their track. But it also could be, how are we going to double down and go after now President-elect Trump? Thinking about what Chuck Schumer said. So if that, maybe it was both. Maybe they're looking, how can we cover up because our person didn't win the White House? Now what can we also do to go after the now President-elect Donald Trump? That is even scarier, too, if they decide. And think about when all the unmasking, when all the leaks took place, during the transition time. This is scary. And now this comes out about what Mueller was doing with the transition team. Again, this just underscores. Think about this is what amazes me. President Trump won in spite of the Republican establishment being against him, the Democrats being against him, the elite media against him, and the FBI and the Justice Department were against him, and still he prevailed. Still the American people said, we don't care about, we're making that guy our next president. We're putting him in the Oval Office. To me, that's the real story here. In spite of all that, he still won because the American people were so fed up with this kind of baloney. They wanted someone else in that place who could shake things up.
And you know, the arrogance, the chutzpah of people in the FBI, Strzok, McCabe, Comey, Lisa Page, all of them saying, you know, we're going to change this, and the intelligence community going after him. But
Peter
now,
Strzok, Judge, Peter Strzok thinks he's James Bond of the FBI. I mean, he had so much. He ran the Clinton investigation, ran the Russian investigation, did all these. Remember, he interviewed Mike Flynn.
Yes.
He interviewed Mike Flynn after he'd done all this other stuff. Maybe after he put this dossier together. Yeah, and then he interviews Mike Flynn, so that is scary as well. But he thought he was Mr. Super Agent Man, going to save the world from President Trump. But the voters had a different idea.
Yeah,
who should
he
be
wasn't
in the Oval
exactly
Office.
super agent when he was interviewing Hillary Clinton. That was one of the weakest interviews that the FBI has ever done.
It wasn't
he
even
didn't
an
even
interview.
confront her with any of her wrongdoing. It was a total snow job from the beginning.
You know, Ron, I can't agree with him more. I mean, it was just a discussion. I'm sure they had tea, and that was the end of it, because they could have had her on perjury or lying to a federal officer in 1 second. Did you have classified information on that unprotected server? She says, yes, it's a crime. She says, no, it's a lie. And they didn't do it. But Congressman DeSantis, do you know anything about the latest with Mueller improperly obtaining transition documents in the Russia probe just coming out tonight?
I just found out, but Judge, I think what this underscores is go back to Peter Strzok. He's the lead of the Hillary investigation. It was a patsy investigation. He's pro-Hillary. He's very anti-Trump, says it's his duty to get the FBI to stop him from being elected. So the difference between the lack of zealousness with Hillary's investigation and then getting any document under the sun with Mueller, they never used the grand jury with Hillary. They didn't do subpoenas or search warrants. Now they're trying to get everything they can. So do we have equal application of the law or not, or do we give some people a pass and then scorch the earth with other people based on their political
Congressman
affiliation?
Jim Jordan, Congressman Ron DeSantis, you're out front there. You're at the tip of the spear. Thank you so much for being here tonight, both of you. All right.